If you're from Appalachia, you've undoubtedly heard of the Scots-Irish and how big of an impact they've had on shaping the region and its culture. And it's very likely that you have some Scots-Irish ancestry. But who were the Scots-Irish, and where did they really come from? Well, to figure that out, we need to go back in time to the beginnings of the 17th century during the reign of James I of England, also known as James VI of Scotland. And it was around this time period that England had recently put down a rebellion in the northern Gaelic region of Ireland known as Ulster. After the rebellion had been put down, the local earls left for Spain in an event known as the Flight of the Earls, leaving the land wide open for King James to claim. And so he did, creating what is known as the Ulster Plantation, which was essentially a plan to colonize and anglicize the Gaelic region of Northern Ireland. The land was then divvied up and given to loyal English and Scottish nobles, under the caveat that they could only employ Protestant, Scottish, or English settlers in their plot of land. And most of those settlers came from the impoverished Scottish lowlands and the tumultuous region known as the Borderlands. For centuries, the border between England and Scotland had been a war-torn area, ravaged by both sides in numerous conflicts over territory. Both the land in this region and the people were used as a buffer between the two kingdoms. Life in the borderlands at this time was hard, with people on both sides frequently engaging in cross-border raids, stealing livestock, burning down villages, and engaging in your typical pillage and plunder type activity. And given the remoteness of the region and the distance from the seats of power on either side, the law could not be trusted to help you. It was a land where you had to kill or be killed. It was a land where you had to take or be taken from. And when issues arose, you had to take matters into your own hands, as the law could not be trusted. And so family ties became incredibly important to help defend you and yours. And so arose the culture of the border reivers, families on both sides of the Anglo-Scottish borders who took matters into their own hands, frequently raiding across the border and engaging in family feuds that lasted years. They were, in some cases, armies of lawless rogues with little loyalty to king and country who took care of their own. And it was these rough-and-tumble, fiercely independent people, particularly from the Scottish side of the border, who made up many of the settlers in Ulster. Many of these settlers were also quite rebellious Scottish Presbyterians who were anxious to leave to get away from the persecution of the English Anglican Church. But whatever religious relief they enjoyed in their new Ulster home was short-lived, as within 100 years it would be challenged again by the Anglican Church of Ireland that instituted policies that persecuted both Irish Catholics and Presbyterians. And so they left in the thousands and resettled in the colonies, beginning in Pennsylvania and spreading throughout the region we now refer to as Appalachia. And of course they brought their unique culture with them, which was an amalgamation of borderland and Irish culture and language, much of which still survives in the Appalachian region today. And if you're from Appalachia, you know this is particularly true of fierce independence, strong family ties, distrust in the government, and the occasional family feud. Even more negative aspects of Appalachian culture, like the pejorative term redneck and hillbilly, have their origins with the Scots-Irish Presbyterians. And the Scots-Irish have had a major impact on America in general, even outside of the Appalachian region, as they fought in many wars that shaped this country, and many of our most prominent leaders have Scots-Irish ancestry, including Andrew Jackson, Teddy Roosevelt, and more recently, Barack Obama. And there are some sources that claim that every 1 out of 10 Americans has some Scots-Irish ancestry, which also includes me. at least on my dad's side, and additionally, I'm a foster, which is nothing special. There's fosters all over England and Scotland and Ireland. But my particular branch of fosters is a sept of Forster. That simply means it's a branch of the Forster family that uses an alternate spelling of the name. And the Forsters, along with the names on this map of the Borderlands, were a prominent Reaver family. So check out this map of prominent Border Reaver families, because if your surname or last name is on this map, you may or may not have Border Reaver ancestry. It's certainly not something that I can prove, and I think it would be difficult for most people to prove, but it's still kind of cool, and it gives you something to talk about instead of telling people that you're a descendant of Ragnar Lothbrok. So you tell me in the comments, do you have Scots-Irish ancestry? And if you want to share, what's your family name and where are you from? Sleep well, friends, and memento mori.